we're back for another Zer video. Yeah, I know it's super late for a Zer video. But I mean, he doesn't leave until like Tuesday, and it's Monday, so you still have one more day to see what he has. But yeah, let's get to it. He is in Nessus, and more importantly, he is in the Watcher's Grave. So as soon as you land, just pull out your Sparrow and follow where I go. Basically, when he's always in Nessus, he's gonna be on top of this tree. You can just put your Sparrow here and just, go up the tree. He's gonna be here. Alright, so he has Prometheus Lens, which is an exotic trace rifle. The weapon perks are Chambered Compensator, Projection Fuse, Flame Refraction, and Composite Stock. Prometheus Lens does have a catalyst. The intrinsic trait is Prismatic Inferno. Basically, it creates a solar trace beam. And the more damage you do to the target, it applies Scorch to the target. This is a good weapon for both PvE and PvP. More so in momentum control in PvP, since it can like one-shot. But yeah, it's a fun trace rifle to play around with. If I ever feel the need to use a trace rifle, I would use Prometheus Lens. Moving on to the armor, starting with the Shinobu's Bow, which is an exotic gauntlet for the hunter. The armor perk is New Tricks. Basically, it improves the skip grenade, and you get another skip grenade. When you damage enemies with the skip grenade, you get grenade energy back. So basically, the more you use your skip grenade, the more you get it back, and so on and so forth. The total stats is 61 with a high discipline, or the second highest discipline, or with the second highest stat being discipline, which works well with New Tricks, because the more discipline you have, the more you get your grenade back. And the more grenades you get back, the more New Tricks procs, which means you get more grenades back, and so on and so forth. I suggest picking it up if you don't have the Shinobu's Bow yet. Moving on to the Stronghold, which is an exotic gauntlet for the Titan. The armor perk is Clenched Fist. Maximizes guard stats on equipped swords. You take reduced damage while blocking with the sword. Basically, if you like using swords a lot, then you might as well just use Stronghold, since it provides all of these utilities for swords when using a sword. The total stats is 65 with all equal or around even stats all around. Personally, I've never used Stronghold because I rarely use swords. But I mean, if you like using swords in PvE, then I guess Stronghold may work for you. I'm not really sure. I don't really have too many opinions on Stronghold. But I mean, if you don't have it, and if you want to play around with swords, then I suggest just giving it a try. Moving on to the... Am I dead? Yeah, I am dead. Okay. That's not good. Goblin was shooting at me. Let's see if we can crouch. Hide behind Zer. Alright. That was... Okay. Moving on to the last exotic armor, which is the Prometheum Spur, which is an exotic leg armor for the Warlock. The armor perk is Embers of Lights. While Daybreak is active, defeating targets creates a healing and empowering rift at their location. Solo weapon final blows grant rift energy and increase rates when standing in any rift. When standing in any rift and rift energy is full, final blows consume class energy and create a heal. So basically, if you want to create healing and empowering rifts, when you kill an enemy and you want that empowering or healing rift to be at the enemy's location, then Promethean Spur is the exotic armor for you. The total stats is 64, with the highest being intellect. Um, Honestly, I feel like this is a bad exotic for the warlock. There's better exotics out there. For the warlock in PvP, if you want to use this in PvP, such as Ophidian Aspect, mainly that. Honestly, uh, it doesn't sound that great of an exotic, if I'm being honest. But if you want to buy it to have it for your collection, then go for it. Okay, the Hawkmoon he has brought has opening shots, which is not that bad for a Hawkmoon, for a hand cannon. But opening shot is more works more well or works well with a shotgun than it does a hand cannon because it's only for the opening shots of the Hawkmoon, which means the first bullet. So if you want to proc opening shot again, you're gonna have to reload and shoot again. So it's not the best perk to have for the Hawkmoon. But if you really want to have a Hawkmoon, then I guess you can get it. But there are better Hawkmoons out there. As always, Xur has a Xenology quest, which when completed rewards you an exotic cipher, which you can use at the exotic archive in the tower. As always, you can buy an exotic engram for 97 legendary shards. Okay, let's move on to the legendary weapons, starting with Royal Chase, which is a scout rifle. The weapon perks are Grave Robber and Thresh, more of a PvE perks. I mean, if you don't have a PvE Boyd scout rifle, I guess you can get this Royal Chase for any PvE activity. Moving on to the Vulpicula, which is a hand cannon. The weapon perks are Outlaw and Harmony. Two decent or average PvP perks. But there are better hand cannons out there if you want to use a hand cannon for PvP. Moving on to the Legal Action 2, which is a pulse rifle. The armor perks are Heating Up and Rampage. There are better pulse rifles out there. Two decent PvP perks, I guess you can call them. But like I said, there's better pulse rifles out there. Moving on to the Without Remorse, which is a shotgun with the weapon perk Stat for All and Elemental Capacitor. It's not that bad for PvP, but I'm pretty sure you can craft this weapon. And if not, there's better shotguns out there. Moving on to the Path of Least Resistance, which is a trace rifle with the weapon perks Hip Fire Grip and Tap the Trigger. Decent PvP perks. I mean, why would anyone use a trace rifle in the Crucible? And plus, you can actually craft this weapon. You just buy it from Xur. And you can hopefully get a red border weapon. Let's see if I can get one to show you that it does work. You need to have the materials in order to buy it, though. In order to keep getting or buying the weapons, and hopefully a red border, drops for you. But I don't think it's gonna drop for me. So after this one, we're just gonna move on. Alright, so let's move on to the Threaded Needle, which is a linear fusion rifle. The weapon perks are Killing Wind and Demolitionist. This is more of a PvE weapon, and those perks kind of suck for PvE, so just skip this. And finally, Xur has the Memory Interdict, which is a grenade launcher. The weapon perks are Impulse Amplifier and Danger Zone. Does it have sticky grenades or proximity grenades? It does not. So I suggest just skipping this grenade launcher.